Good morning. Um, and it's quite a special day. We've got the winter solstice today. And I always like to do a meditation when it comes to the winter solstice because I think it's really important for to understand the old ways, as we say, so we're getting used to um, getting away from things and moving on to things. And it's that winter time where we really start to think about like, right, well, what am I going to do next year? What am I going to improve on next year? And what am I going to try next year is one of the points. And as we come to the end of the year, we kind of do that. We do that, whereas sometimes we look past this year, we look over this year and the achievements that we've done, or the joy that it's brought, or the love that we've been shown through the year. And it's also to do with, I find that sometimes when we start a year, personally speaking, when we start a year, I find that I have these great plans, and I have these, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I write all this down in my numerous amounts of books with lists. So I don't know if you've got a numerous amount of books with lists like myself. And I get to the end of the year and I look at this list and I check it and I'm like, well, what did I achieve off that list? And if I could tick, three things off of seven, then I think, well, that's okay because we're maybe not meant to do the seven. The other four is maybe meant to be done next year or the following year. I mean, it's to do with like intention, it's to do with how we feel about things also. But for those of you that are new to the winter solstice, I mean, I'm fairly new to this. I'm still learning more about this and very much aware that when I did all my research for this for today, it is to do with, the shortest day and the longest night. And the dark nights do affect us, they do have that effect on us. I mean, we're lucky if we get what, maybe about 5 or 6 hours of daylight. Somebody will probably correct me on that. But 5 or 6 hours of daylight, and it does, you're going to work or school or college in the dark, and you're coming home in the dark, and unless you've got a place where there's lots of windows, you barely see the daylight. And our body needs that vitamin C. Our body needs that light to balance everything out. And when I was doing this, I mean, I do a fair amount of, like I say, studying on it. And I think it's really important to access, to utilize the nature that we've got around us. And if you know me, you know I do like moon meditations and I love the moon energy. I'm very much attracted to moon energy. And there's a lot of things going on this weekend. I mean, you've got the meteorite. I don't know if anyone saw it on Friday, but we've got the meteorite on Friday. And then we've got like the winter solstice. And then we're coming to an end of a year. We're coming to the end of something that we started with. And it seems to be, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but it seems to be that the years are getting faster, and it's like, one minute you're putting the Christmas tree down and then the next minute you're putting it up. And it doesn't seem that wee dash in between doesn't seem that long anymore. So if someone can advise me on that, is it an age thing? Or, are we just zooming past really, really quickly from year to year? So remember when you're doing your winter solstice, I mean, I put a post up and I wrote down the things that um, you might want to take, you might want to look at. There's little guidelines and things that I've put in there. So before you do this meditation, have a wee look at that. Have a look at the things that you maybe need to bring to this ritual or this beautiful energy that we're working with on the winter solstice. And I've wrote down a couple of things, and I've put a couple of like, comments and things in. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to follow everything that's there, but it gives you just that guideline to what you're bringing in. And so when we're talking about it, um, the first thing that I want to kind of talk about is the fire. And I mean, I know I'm looking at my notes here, but when you get to the meditation, you won't see me doing this. Um, as well. So first we have to look at like the lighting of the fires. And the lighting of the fires is very important, because what that indicates is I mean fire can be quite cleansing, although it could be like dangerous also. But fire could like be cleansing, when we're looking at that as well. But the fire actually represents the light. and it represents the light that we don't have at this period of time. Do you know, it represents that fire and the light that we are. So when you do your light, whether you've got a log fire or a coal fire, whether you're doing candles, whether you're doing, I don't know, you might be doing a fire pit outside when you're listening to this. And my voice has started going already. I was a wee bit worried about that. And the fire represents, like I say, daylight, light, and it's bringing this encouraging. And it's said to be in some of the rituals I've looked at and some of the things that I've researched. And it seems to be, it's like it signifies the fact is when you do the light, when you do the fire, the candles, the fire pit, it's like you're wanting to draw the light into you or draw the light to us. So it's an encouraging thing. So don't think, oh my God, I've not got a coal fire or I've not got a log fire or I've not got a fire pit. The candle does exactly the same thing because anything that you light, anything with a flame, is going to encourage the daylight to come to us. So don't get overexcited about light. Don't get over stressed about you don't have this, this, or this. Like I say, if you've got some of the things on the list, great. But if you've not, it's like the meditation will still do what it does. And it still will be what it is. And it's also I need to sort of mention this, it is also um it has a lot to do with like your ancestors. And it's a lot to do with like because when you do some kind of when you do one of these, like whether it's like, summer solstice, winter solstice, the equinox, when you do like one of these, it's like it's things that your ancestors did, centuries and centuries and centuries and thousands of years ago. And you're just rekindling that. So when you rekindle one of these rituals, it's almost like you're bringing all your ancestors for way back into your vibration and into your energy, and you're honouring them by doing this. Do you know you're on it? It's like whatever they started, you're continuing. So it's a great way to sort of show respect and gratitude for everything that your ancestors have done. Like I said, it is a time to reflect on the past. It is a time to look back, and it's a time to like sort of sit and look at the things that you set out to do and the things that you didn't manage to do. Well, like I always say, if you didn't manage to do something, maybe um maybe it wasn't meant to be. Do you know, maybe it wasn't meant to be for that time. Maybe you were a wee bit over ambitious or a wee bit like, do you know what, I'd like to do that. But maybe it wasn't the right time or the right place to do that. So don't discard anything that you've not done this year. Don't rip that list up and get frustrated with yourself. And it's like, oh, I never got this and I never got that. Don't be frustrated with yourself. All you're going to do is you're going to score out that 2025 that's written at the top of your list and score it out really well. And then put 2026 because you're carrying on the hopes and the dreams that you had for 25 and you're taking them into like 26. So don't be discouraged that you never got to do what you wanted to do. Just be aware that you're getting a chance to do this again. And like I say, some things are right for us and some things aren't. But some things it's to do with timing. So pay attention to the past, pay attention to where you've come. Do you know if you look back at January 25 and you look back at like where you sat and where you were, and you look at yourself now, I mean, compare yourself to your past self. And as I say, you might not have done that list, but what a change that there has been in you. I mean, it's a whole year that you've had lessons and experiences of, and they've learned to, they've shaped your experiences, shape you, and they do bring all that in. So we're very much aware of the changes that we make. And you might sit there and think, well, I'm doing the same thing. Do you know, I'm in the same job, I'm in the same house. But how are you physically and how are you mentally that you've changed things around you? There will have been small changes, although they're like small, but there will have been changes. So it's just acknowledging like who you are and where you've come from and being very proud of like the changes that you have made. And at the end of the day, I mean, you think it's like, well, do you know what? It might not have been the best year, but I got through it. And the challenges were there and I walked through it. And there was challenges there that I had to really climb out of. But you climbed out of it and you walked through it and you jumped over it. So you need to be remembering that. You need to remember, although there was maybe a few bad experiences in 25, you need to remember it's like, well, you're standing here. You're standing at the end of 25. So you got through all that stuff that's there. So remember the power and remember the strength that it took for you to get over and out of these experiences that you had in 25. So you should be like remembering that. We should remember how strong we were to get that. And you might be sitting there saying, well, anybody could have got through it. Rubbish. Not everybody can get through what you've been through, and vice versa, you know. So just be aware that it's like just because you got through it and you pulled yourself up a bit, not everybody can do that with that situation. So don't give yourself a hard time. Give yourself a proud moment that you did get through that and you did get out of it. And you are standing here at the end of the year ready to start a new one. So give yourself a little bit of credit for what's happened. Give yourself a little bit of credit of like where you've come from and the things that you've been through this year. The gratitude is really important. I do my gratitude at the end of my diary. Do you know? And if when I'm speaking to like the divine spirit, when I'm talking to spirit, when I'm actually, do you know, when it's just me and my guide and the divine spirit, or just me and my guide, um, and I do the gratitude. Do you know, I do what I'm grateful for. Um, and I don't say it every time now because they know that that is what I am. I am grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the food in my fridge. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful that I can supply things for my children for that as well. I'm grateful I've got a bed to sleep in, you know, and we are grateful for those things. But I'm grateful for those things every day, you know, every day that I have that. You know, my bank balance might not be up to top, but I've got food, I've got shelter, and I've got somewhere nice and warm to sleep. And that's gratitude. That's what we're grateful for. But we're also grateful to maybe our families, the job that we have, do you know, the people that we know, the people that we love, our friends, our family. Do you know, we are grateful for all these things. So really, when you get to the end of the year, what are you grateful for? What are you sitting there thinking? Do you know what? I'm so grateful I had that person because I wasn't in I was having a tough time, and it was nice to have that person, that family member or that friend that helps you through things. Do you know, that helps you through what was going on? So maybe we are grateful for that person. We're grateful for the fact is they took time to help us. But first and foremost, you should be grateful for the fact that you asked for help. Not many people can do that. Not many people can say, please help me. Do you know? So being grateful for that in the first run. I always put it into my diary. When I write in my diary every night and I put what happened that day, do you know? And at the end of it, I kind of started putting night night. I know it sounds weird and it sounds strange, but I started putting night night. And then it was like it was a fact is it just became a habit all over the years it's there. But now I know when I'm putting that, and I now know why I've been putting that. And it is to do with like sometimes, you know, when you've had a really rubbish day and it's not been the best, you know, and you climb into your bed and you kind of exhale and it's like, oh, thank goodness that is that. That's that day over and done when I don't need to repeat it, you know. So it is letting go. And it's letting go of the things that we no longer require and the things that we no longer want in our lives. And whether that be situations, whether that be people, do you know, it's like sometimes it is people that we need to let go of for doing that as well. This is a time for self-care. This is the time to take care of you. And self-care is really important. You know, how you look after yourself. I mean, if it means going to get your hair done, or if it means, meeting up with friends, if it means, whatever that means to you is the self-care. Booking in for a massage, for that also. But it could mean loads of things to loads of people, you know. So the self-care is really important. And I remember saying that the first time when I did a reading with someone. And I says, look, you need time for yourself. You need to take time for yourself. And the lady was like, oh no, I've not got time for that. I'm too busy. I've got this, and this. And I looked at her and I went, but you've gifted me an hour. And if you can gift me an hour and you've taken that hour out for to be with me today, then surely you could take a half hour out for you because you're giving me an hour of your energy and of your time. And we kind of sat there in the silence, and I think the two of us got it. So it wasn't just a message for her. Spirit gave a message for the two of us. If I can gift that hour for someone else, then I can gift half an hour or an hour for myself. So it's really important for self. Self's really important. Absolutely. So it's allowing yourself time to be you. That could be like, do you know what? It could be something as simple as a bubble bath, you know, and it's just that relaxing feeling. You know, you've got maybe the candles lit, you're making it all nice and special for yourself. You know, you've maybe got some kind of scent that's going on. Um, and it's so nice just to have that peace and the calm and just that warmth around you, you know. So it is important for it to do that. Connecting with nature, because we're talking about Mother Earth, we're talking about the changes that happens within Mother Earth, we're talking about the changes that happens around us and within us also. When when we are connecting to Mother Earth. There's different ways that you could do that. Do you know, you could do that by going for walks in the forest, botanical gardens, park areas, do you know, taking walks like that. If you're doing it like in a sort of meditation way, don't take people with you. And I know that sounds really harsh, but don't take people with you because if you're doing it as a meditation way, if you're doing it just to sort of declutter the mind and just bring a lot of sort of peace and calm to yourself, you don't want someone talking to you at the same time. You want that pure peacefulness that sits with that as well. Some people are maddies, and that's what I'm, it's no disrespect. I mean that very, very positively. And we see the videos, do you know, of the New Year Duke. And people are doing it with New Year, do you know. Some people have got like, maybe, I don't know, some kind of water retainer that they go into and they do that. And I'm not brave enough to do that yet. And I've been invited loads of times. And I hear it's very good for your mental health. Um, but it's just that all my days kind of feeling. So I know I'll get there. Do you know, I've had it on my list for a couple of years now. So that's maybe one of the things that I need to bring in for 26. So one of these things and some of these rituals, and it's getting to nature, do you know, because that's what we're talking about. Do you know, we're talking about the world changing, we're talking about the light, we're talking about the whole universal thing when it comes to like, the absolute winter solstice when we're bringing that. The pagans that first created Christmas, and I've had many discussions with this about people. One person in particular said it wasn't. It's a Christian thing and it always has been. So I'm not getting into an argument here. I think your belief system's your belief system, and that's how it is. My belief system sits with pagans and druids, okay? And they would honor the gods and they would honor nature and they would honor it by they would bring some kind of branch into their homes. And this is what is meant by bringing nature into your home and bringing it right in there. They would hang whatever fruit or whatever food that they could hang on, do you know? And there's all different things. They would hang on things like coloured pieces of material to, just to bring colour to the season. And I remember my dad, who was Polish, and he said when he was younger, when he was a child, the tree that they had in their house had actual candles on it, do you know? And I think about that and I'm like, oh my days, do you know? The thought of having like a real tree and candles on it, it was a bit scary for me, but and I always thought, wouldn't that be lovely though? Wouldn't that be lovely to have a real tree with beautiful small candles all around it and just nice coloured ribbons and things that's there? But we would light candles under it, or we would light candles around it, do you know? And they would bring in, as I say, fruits, berries, um, whatever they had gained or brought into the house, do you know, for the winter, because they had to do that storage thing. Do you know, they didn't have like obviously fridges and things like we've got. So they had to do the storage thing, do you know. So there would have been like, fish, meat, whatever. And the snow was like a fridge to them. So that kept everything fresh, virtually through the winter for that as well. But we're talking about bringing the holly and the ivy. And the holly and the ivy is a beautiful time to bring in. Or even like mistletoe. Um, Placing pine cones around the house. Do you know, bringing anything into the house. I mean, I don't know if any of you have done that, but I remember putting like a pine cone and I put like some kind of fat or something on it and roll it in different seeds, do you know, and that was, the birds got that, would hang it up outside. Me and my kids used to do that when they were younger. I think we only did it a couple of times. I think they got bored after a while. It wasn't as exciting as what I made it for that as well. So placing pine cones around the fire in the house for good luck and grounding. Making arrangements. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. decorating the tree. And then it sort of escalated and escalated, and then it's like, and then people would do this. So, people have been doing this for like centuries and centuries that's doing that. And you are paying homage. You're paying homage to what has been achieved and what have you gained through that year. You're giving sort of gratitude for the harvest and you're giving gratitude to whatever gods they held to, So they're showing their gratitude by like, we're bringing this into our home. We're very grateful that we're able to do this. We're very grateful that we've got the meat, the fish, the fruit, the veg, whatever's sitting there, they've brought that in. So remember that when you're putting your tree up, that is an old, 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 old tradition. And it's a very beautiful tradition as well. I'm not quite sure about the angel whether on the angel on the tree comes in, but we are to do with that. Spending time with your loved ones, absolutely. You hear it all the time when it gets to Christmas. Oh, I'm going to my granny's for my Christmas dinner, or we're all gathering at my mum and dad's, or we're doing that. But we need to spend a time and we need to spend a few moments thinking about the people that don't, and I know it has to be spoken about, and giving thoughts to people in that situation and giving a bit of energy, to a person. And even if you're putting it out into the world, I mean, please, honestly, energy travels and energy goes where it needs to go. So if you're putting the thoughts out and you're putting kind thoughts out to people that don't have what we have, you know, but that is then another thing that we could sit and be grateful for. But sitting telling stories about the year, you find it. You're sitting telling, after you've had your Christmas lunch and everything, and you reminisce over Christmases that have been past, and we reminisce over people that were there at those Christmases that are no longer here with us. So you're honouring them by remembering them. You're honouring your grand and your granddad, your parents. You're honouring these people because you are talking about them, but you're talking about them in such a beautiful way. It's like, oh, do you remember? I mean, I remember my dad once, and we were all sitting having their Christmas dinner, and obviously you got the silly paper hats on, and I think my mum had run out with something. I don't know what it was, and we decided, me and my dad decided just to go to the shop. And I'm walking along and I'm talking to my dad as we're going to the shop, and then I just happened to look up and he's still got his yellow hat on. Um, and I went, "You still got your hat on?" And he kind of just shrugged his shoulders, and it was like, well, it's Christmas and it's okay, for that. And so we went into the shop with his yellow hat on. And a couple of people were having that discussion about Christmas. I thought we'd never get out of that shop because everybody was in, the people that were in were all talking and we were doing the reminiscing and everything for that as well and having a right old chuckle, and then we got what we got and then we went home. But honestly, we must have been away about an hour. So I hope it wasn't so important that my mum needed it. So it's celebrating your family. It's also, like I say, it's celebrating the ones that are not with you at this time of the year, but it's celebrating the ones that are with you at this time of the year as well. So keeping their memory alive, keeping that joy alive of that memory of them, and keeping the thoughts going because there's people in your family that didn't know them. I mean, I never knew I had the sets of my grandparents. I didn't have that privilege. I didn't have that's there. So I only know things about them. So I have to honour them. Even though I didn't know them, I still have to honour them when it gets to this time of the year. I have spoke about self-care. We have did that. Spices and herbs, bring them in. Absolutely amazing to bring them in. My auntie used to take the orange and she would put the cloves in it, put a ribbon around it, hang it on the tree or hang it on the fireplace. And she had a few of those. We've spoke about the pine cones and that as well. So cinnamon, pine nuts, nutmeg. Nutmeg is a warming. Do you know? It is a warming energy nutmeg. And there's also, when you do the first of next month, you might blow the cinnamon into your house, put salt at your door, for all the good luck and that you're looking for next year as well. So, burning incense of pine or cinnamon or any other forest smell. Cloves and nutmeg bring in clarity and renewal. Mistletoe symbolises protection and connection. So, although you're just putting these things up and you're aware you hang the mistletoe, and it is the kissing thing, and we do understand that, but it also brings other things in as well, So, we are talking about the protection and we are talking about like the connection with family and ancestors as well. But the cloves and the nutmeg bring clarity. So when you're burning anything, incense or anything like that, And it is that smell that goes, I love the smell of cinnamon at Christmas time. I just love it. And we are bringing all that in to your home and you are refreshing things. So these are things that could elevate the energy of your home. Making a connection to the winter solstice is important as well. So you're creating a natural energy within your home. You're bringing all these things within and you're bringing all these things in. So bringing some of the old beautiful ways into the present. We do it every year. We're very much aware of it every year. And we're very much aware of all the things that's there. So let's get to what we're doing today. So I'm going to be doing a meditation with you today, and you can access this anytime through the day as well, and we are bringing that in. So what you are done, I mean, I've given you all the information. I gave you all the information yesterday. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh my days, I never seen that, or I never got, this is where you would pause me, hopefully in a really nice way. Do you know, I don't want you to look like that. But you would pause me and this is all day. We've got this is all day and a part of tomorrow because we're still moving into like the winter solstice. We're still into this part of it. So you would gather what you would need to gather. So as I say, it gave you the list yesterday. You might have cinnamon in the cupboard because you're baking with it or you're making cakes with it. So you've already got one of the things. You've maybe got like pine cones for your Christmas tree. You've definitely probably got candles. So don't, like I say, don't get overwrought with, oh, I don't have that, you know. If you've gathered around your home, if you've gathered things, you might have nutmegs, because, grated nutmeg and things. So just be aware of what you do have, and just make do with what you've got. The candle, really important. So the candle is quite important if you don't have the other two things. So, and it is to do with that. And it doesn't matter the candle. It could be a tea light, or it could be a big chunky candle or whatever you're bringing in, you know. So you would pause at this bit and you would go and gather things. You maybe gather them round where you're going to be lying to do this meditation. You may be gathering round in bowls or wherever it sits and fits. So apart from all that, when you've done my meditations before, you'll understand why I'm bringing this in. All my meditations start in the same manner. So what you need is a comfortable place to sit, to lie down, sorry, and you need a bottle of water. You also need like a really comfortable pillow, a nice cozy blanket, and peace and quiet. That's the most important thing that you can have for this meditation. Some place where you're lying and, the kids are running in and asking you for this and this. So taking your time with this. And if that means once you're doing this, once the kids are in their bed and you're managing to lie in your bed and you're managing to listen to this, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, it's still going to be there. It's still going to be accessed, for that. But this will be taken down, possibly 12 o'clock tomorrow night. So even if you can't manage today and it's like that, you're rushing about and I know how busy it gets and you're rushing about, you maybe want to do it like, tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning. So I'm not going to leave it longer than tomorrow. Like I'm not going to leave it longer than the 22nd at 12 o'clock. And then, it'll probably be taken down or deleted for that as well. But hopefully you can access it over the next 2 days. Okay, so let's get you comfortable. Again, let's do everything that needs to be done. And when you pause this, then great. And then I'm going to start exactly with the meditation that's there. I do not use music. I do not use music in these meditations because I find sometimes it depends on the frequency and the vibration and everything else that music can bring in. But I always like to leave these meditations to your choice, your choice. Maybe there's a piece of music that you want to listen to, through this meditation. So then if I've got music and you've got music, it just won't work. So I always do these blank and I always do these without music that's attached to that. So you can bring in your own music, or do you know what? You might just sort of like to just listen to the silence or just sit in the silence for that as well. This is a guided meditation. So whether you're new to it or whether you're like, an old hat at this, hopefully it'll sit and fit with you. Okay, let's get started. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make yourself as comfortable as possible. I want your arms to be by your side or on your tummy, your head nice and rested, Make sure you are, um, if you've got any fidgeting to do, do it now, you know. So make sure it's like once you're finished that, it's like everything's peaceful and everything's calm. You've got your blanket over you and you've got a beautiful soft place to sort of lie down. So what I would like you to do is close your eyes. You're going to close your eyes and you're going to take 3 deep breaths with me. So this is just to join all our energies. So a nice deep breath in through the nose, big and strong. Let go through the mouth. Second one. And release. Third one. And let go. We're going to concentrate on the breathing, the calmness, the feeling. Your mind's going to be racing. It's going to be thinking of all the things that you've got to do. But I seriously want you to just concentrate on the parts of your body and the places that I'm going to draw your attention to. And as soon as you start working on that, then it absolutely will be exactly what it is. So I'd like you to pay attention, and I know it might sound silly, to your toes. I want you to take your focus all the way down to your feet, all the way down to your toes. And we're going to count those toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in deeply. 5, 6, 7, 8. Feeling the air coming in and the air going out. 9, 10. Be aware of that soft energy. Be aware that your body is like your chest is probably slowing down really nicely. You're taking longer, slower breaths. Nice and gently in and out. Take your focus down to the soles of your feet. All the way down. Now, if you know how to ground, if you know how to do the grounding, I tend to ask people to visualize 4 roots from each sole of your foot. And whether you're on a top floor flat or whether you're on a ground floor house, it works exactly the same. You would visualize that you are on earth. You would visualize that there is earth beneath you. And you would visualize these roots coming from the soles of your feet and burrowing into the earth and burrowing in so nice and deeply, roughly about 10 to 15 inches down. And as you're doing so, I want you to pay attention to your soles of your feet. Have they started tingling? Have you started feeling the vibration? So it is a lot to do with that. And it's a lot to do with the earth vibration. So just take a few moments just to put your roots down, just to ground you, just to get in touch with Mother Nature or Gaia, and just to feel that connection. Because it's a connection to the winter solstice and it's a connection to Mother Earth. Just feeling the vibrations under the soles of your feet to the tops of your feet. That is your inner energy. And when you are aware of that, you'll be aware through this sort of relaxation period that that vibration will climb up and it will eventually engulf your whole body. So let's take your focus to your heels, your ankles, working all the way up to your knees, feeling the vibration following you. Feel the tingling ever so slightly. From your knees to your hips and thighs. You're allowing your legs to relax. You're allowing them to sink into where you are as you lie there all comfortable and cozy and warm. As you lie there and you're aware of all that energy that's within you. And it's only when you take time and sit in the silence with no distractions can you feel it. It's a lot to do with your inner strength and power also. It's mainly a lot to do with your physical energy inside. From your hips, all the way up from your coccyx to your waist, over your tummy and to your waist. Allowing the first half of your body to feel it starting to sink in. It's starting to absolutely relax and let go. You're in a safe place. You're in a beautiful, comfortable place. So let's take your focus to your fingers. 8 and 2. 8 fingers, 2 thumbs. So we're going to count that down. And as I count it down, just allow your breath to become softer and more quiet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in slower and out. 5, 6, 7, 8. And your 2 thumbs. 1 and 2. You just start feeling the vibration in the palms of your hand. You can feel it getting stronger, warmer, from your wrists to your elbows, and from your elbows to your shoulders. And just allow your hands and your arms, allow your arms to sink gently. Allow them to relax. Your arms have maybe been carrying a fair amount of shopping over the last couple of weeks. So let's give them a time out. We're going to work from your waist all the way up your spine, through your shoulder blades, your chest, all the way up to the nape of your neck and your shoulders. Let go. Allow yourself to let go. Up your throat and the nape of your neck, around your jawline, feeling your head tipping backwards, feeling your head getting heavier and heavier till you can't sustain it and hold it. And give yourself one final piece of information. I am relaxed. I am protected. I am safe. And allow your body and your head just to do the rest as everybody's doing. And relax fully and allow yourself to do that. I'd like you to pay attention as you're lying there all nice and cozy. I'd like you to pay attention to the vibration of your inner energy. It's maybe focusing on a certain part of your body, your shoulders, your back, maybe your feet. Maybe it's not moved for there. Follow the energy around your body. Where is it taking you? Wherever it takes you, that part of your body needs attention. So it's like your body talking to you and you're listening. So not so much now, but in future meditations, absolutely. So if you've noticed you're barely breathing now, there's a shallowness and a softness. And you may be lying there thinking, am I still breathing? Am I still there? And it's just because you've slowed everything down to a minimum. So while you're lying in that place, the comfortable, soft place, I'm going to take you on a journey. I'm going to get you to visualize in your mind that you're standing in a forest area and you're standing on a path of pine needles that have went brown, but you can see the path in front of you. I want you to look around. And you're looking around at the trees. They're sparsely placed. You can see through them. You're aware of them. And as you're standing there, I would love you to be present where you are. Do you know, Joe, be there and what do you hear, smell, sense? You know, bring in all your natural senses. So just spend a few moments. What do you hear and what do you smell and sense? Where you're walking, you're looking down, you're realizing that, you know, you've got your nice boots on. You know, you maybe got a nice winter coat, a hat, gloves, you know, whatever it is that you've got. And 20 steps into the end of this path, there's an archway that's cut out of a hedgerow. And we're going to just take our time and we're going to just take that walk. So let's just take our steps together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in all that forest energy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop for a moment to pause. As you're looking through that archway, you can see the small flames of a fire that's sitting. You can see the orange and the yellow. You can make out maybe other colours that's there. It's not that far away in the distance. It's on the other side of this archway. So let's continue to walk towards it. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So close. 16, 17. Stop just now. You've seen the stones around this log fire and the logs piled in a pyramid shape. And the flames are beautiful, they're yellow, they're red. You may be catching glimpses of the green or the blue. So let's just continue to take those last few steps. 17, 18, 19, 20. Into that archway. And as you walk through that archway, you're very much aware of the logs that are around that fire. You're aware that it's a comfortable place to sit. And you also might be aware that there's logs all around. You're looking at them and they're all around and you're thinking, who are these logs for? Is there people going to join me? No one's going to join you unless you ask them to. These logs are for your ancestors. They're for the people that are no longer here with us in the physical. They're going to be joining you and sitting around that fire. So I'd like you to walk forward and sit yourself down on one of these huge logs. And as you look around the hedge, there's many archways that have been cut out. There's many archways all around. And while you're sitting there, I'm going to get you to take a few moments. Who would you like to come through those archways? Whether they be in spirit or whether they be here. So I'm going to leave you for a few minutes and just allow these people to walk through the archways, their archways, not yours. They have their own archways to walk through. So just be aware of who you're asking to come through and join you, whether they're spirit or whether they're here. And be aware of these people as they come through. Maybe look exactly the same as the last time you saw them. You're bringing through all the beautiful, loving energy people. We don't want any low energy people here today. So bring through the high energy, the loving energy people, and allow them to sit around in your circle around this fire. And as you nod to them in acknowledgement that they are coming here, you've invited them. Because you want this to be a special winter solstice. You want this to be one of those winter solstices where you remember all the details of the people that came through, the smiles that they gave, the acknowledgement as they nod towards you. And let's get them to settle down in a little bit of quiet, a little bit of peace. So draw that to them and just acknowledge that we need to sit in the peace and the quiet. Now, as you're sitting there in front of the fire with your family and ancestors, and you're feeling all nice and cozy and warm within that fire, just at the right-hand side of the log on the floor, there's a small notepad and pen. And as you pick it up and place it on your knee, I want you to be aware of anything that you do not want to take into 26 with you. Anything that you want to leave here and stay here. Now, this could be anything from people to situations. It may be like old ideas about yourself, old thoughts about yourself that no longer resonate. Do you know? It's not that you're not pretty, or that you're overweight, or you're this, or you're that. You know? It's not that you've been nasty and horrible. That could be changed. We can change, we could do that. So I'd like you just to sit there in deep contemplation and just see what you are willing to leave in 25. So maybe write about 3 or 4 things. So what are you not taking into 26 with you? What are you leaving here? So just sit and write down a couple of things. Just things off the top of your head. So say it could be old ideas about yourself. Maybe you've changed a lot this year and there's been a lot of changes and experiences around you. So maybe you don't want to go back to who you were. So maybe you're leaving a part of you in 25. And once you've finished, I want you just to rip that bit of paper out the notepad and place the notepad and pen back on the ground where you found it. I'd like you to read that list of 3 to 4 things. And every time you read it, I want you to actually feel that it's no longer a part of you. It's no longer who you are. Acknowledging the change of you. But maybe that person's not a part of your life anymore. So that needs to be acknowledged. Or maybe you need to acknowledge certain situations that you found yourself in that you're no longer a part of. There's 7 steps between you and the fire, and I would like you to stand up in your meditation. I want you to take the first 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, and stop. I'd like you to read that list But as you're reading it, I want you to start to feel detached from it. Apologies. I want you to feel detached from it. I want you to look at that list and know that that's not you, or know that that's not around you. Take the final steps. 4, 5, 6, 7. I want you to place that piece of paper into the flames. Put it right in. And I want you to watch as that piece of paper starts to burn all around the edges. And the words that you wrote begin to disappear. And the paper gets smaller and smaller. And there's parts of it that are lit with the yellow and the green. And there's parts that are lit with the yellow and the red. It's getting so small you could barely see it. And then, like a puff of smoke, it's gone. While you're standing there, can you ask Spirit, the Divine Spirit, your God, your Creator, whoever you believe in, can you ask them to release you from that list? Ask them, if you believe in angels, you would ask Archangel Michael to sever and cauterize you from that list so that it never gets attached again, so it never comes back to you. So whoever you believe in, ask them to help you to cut ties with whatever was written. And just close your eyes as you stand at that fire and trust and believe that everything that you've written is disappearing. You watched it burn. You watched it disappear into ash and float away. They and it are no longer you. And the old you is no longer you either. So within your mind, everyone, if you could just, at this moment, ask Spirit to cut away and cauterize your connection to your list. Ask for that list to be cleansed, to become pure, to become positive energy. We don't want to leave negative energy lying about. We want to change it and ask for it. Then just be aware of that ball of energy that is going to someone that needs it. And you've been so concentrating on the fire and on your list and on the release and letting go of things that you didn't even realise that we went from daylight to dusk to night time. And as you walk back to that log that you were sitting in, I want you to be aware of the moon that's sitting above you. As you sit there and look up to the sky, and there's no natural light around you. So very much you're feeling and seeing the stars above. And they're so clear and so, they're shining and they're crystally and they're just so predominant. They're just so there. And the moon sits amongst them. That beautiful energy of the moon. I want you to feel what it feels like. What does it feel like to let go of things? Can you breathe easier, knowing that that is not a part of you anymore? Can you actually feel more relaxed? Because that person is not going to be in your life anymore. You've made a conscious decision to move these things out from you. And remember, if you ask for something to get moved away, don't give it any energy. Don't talk about it or him or her. Because if you talk about them or it, you're bringing it back. And you'll never get rid of it as long as you keep doing it. So when we take it out of our heads and away from us, then that's the best thing you could do for a bad situation or a negative person, is to not give them any energy. So as far as you're concerned, they're not a part of you, and it's that situation isn't either. So sit in the comfort of that energy with the fire. And as you look into the fire, you can see the different colours and the shapes that they form. So I'm going to leave you for a few minutes, just in thought. Maybe you're going to start thinking about what you're doing next year. Maybe you're going to think about that. So I'm going to leave you for about 5–10 minutes, just to enjoy the fire. Pay attention to the fire though. If you're seeing images or shapes, they're maybe significant to what you need to know. So just take a few minutes just to look at and focus at the fire, or focus on your relatives and ancestors. Maybe you've never met some of these ancestors, but they're there through a picture that you know. So I'm going to leave you for a bit. Okay. I'm going to get you to finish up your conversation. So just start rounding up what you're speaking about. I'll give you a few moments to do that. Okay. So now that you've finished having your conversations, having your talking, what I would like you to do is I would like you to pick up that notepad and pen again. And as you place on your knee, I would like you to start thinking about a couple of things that you want to achieve in 2026. So at the top of that piece of paper, write 2026. And I don't want you numbering. Never number a list because it gives you that, well, I have to do number one and then two. You have to do it in order. So don't put numbers next to your lists. Just write your lists. If you do the fifth one first, it makes no odds. The fact that you've done it, you've done it. So what I would like you to do is make a list of maybe 4 things that you want to achieve in 26. Just things off the top of your head. They don't have to be deep things. This is a list of promises that you're making to yourself. And remember, it's okay if you can't manage them all. The fact you done one or two will be great. Then when you're finished, wait to tear that piece of paper out the notepad and return the notepad to the ground where you found it. Now what I would like you to do is I would like you to, as you're sitting there, to look at your list. Concentrate on the first one. I'd love you to visualise it, whatever it is. If it's something that you want to own, it could be a new car. I want you to visualise that new car. What colour is it? What kind is it? Visualise it sitting in your drive or on the street in your house. What colour is it? Is it bright? Is it red? Or are you visualising a new house, a new home, bigger spaces? So you can visualise yourself walking through that place, through the front door, the living room, the lounge, the kitchen. Upstairs is the bedrooms and the bathrooms. If you can visualise it, it makes it stronger. So fold that list up and either keep it in your hand or put it in your pocket. I'd like you to sit there and feel the warmth of your ancestors and your family around you. If you don't have many family, friends, anyone that you're close to. I know there's people out there, although there's not many people around them. We've got a beautiful dog or a cat, got some kind of animal that's in their house. So maybe your dog or your cat's joined you on this meditation. Maybe it's come beside you. I'd like you to acknowledge and nod to your ancestors and your family and friends that have joined you. And it's your way of thanking them for coming through. So you'll stay seated, but they'll stand up. And they'll walk around the log that they've sat in. And they'll go back to the archway that they came through. And they're always there. Whether you're doing this meditation at any time of the year, you can maybe be doing this meditation at the day of a new moon. So acknowledge your family and ancestors and allow them to walk away from you, knowing that they're only an invite away. And they disappear through the hedgerow, through their archway, and they just disappear and they're gone. Now as you sit there with the warmth of the fire, the coolness of the air around you, I'd like you to close your eyes within your meditation. So just close your eyes. You can maybe still hear the crackling of the fire. And I know this is a strange one. You can hear the silence. You can hear the silence around you, and the peace, the calm. Now as you're sitting there with your eyes closed at the fire, I want you to start focusing on something that's in the room that you're in. A picture frame, an ornament, a mirror, something. This is what's going to draw you back into where you are. Focus on something in the room that you're in and feel yourself coming back to yourself. Feel yourself drifting back out of that meditation, keeping your eyes closed until I say so. Drawing yourself away from the fire, your ancestors, your family. And you feel yourself being drawn back onto the bed, the couch, the chair in which you're sitting. And the image of the fire in the forest disappear. And like a speck of dust, they're gone. But you're aware of you lying down, all cozy under the blanket, head nice and gently rested on the pillow, knowing that you've got that list in your pocket. You would never wake up from a meditation like very sharply. Don't want you like jumping. I want you just to be aware of your fingers first. 1. Just make a gentle movement of number 1. 2. Backwards and forwards. 3. 4. 4. Stretching those fingers. 5. 6. 7. Fanning your fingers out. 8. And your 2 thumbs. 9 and 10. And you can feel the energy coming back. You can feel the fingers moving ever so slightly and ever so gently. Let's take our focus to your toes. 1, 2, maybe stretching them as well and bringing them in. So pushing them out and bringing them back in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretching your toes, clenching and releasing the muscles in your feet and your legs. Not tightly, just nice enough to feel them move. You may be stretching or arching your back. You may be moving your head from side to side. Stretching your arms and feeling the tendons and the muscles as you stretch, like coming out of a really good sleep. Stretching and growing, moving nice and gently. You start to feel your body coming back into itself. And before you open your eyes, let's take our 3 deep breaths to end the meditation. I always like to start and end with 3 deep breaths. It lets your brain know what's happening. So a nice big deep breath in through the nose. Now out through the mouth. Second one. Release. Third one. And let go. Now once you've made your movements and you're feeling quite there, I would like you to now open your eyes. But I don't want you sitting up right away. I want you to lie there in the energy that you've created. As you look up to the ceiling and around the room, pay attention to how you feel at this precise moment. Do you feel nice and relaxed? Do you feel sleepy? Or do you feel like you let go of things? Things that have been there for far too long, and you've freed yourself from them by burning that list. Mm. Now gently sit up a little bit, because you will be quite thirsty through that. So have yourself a nice cold drink of water. Just make yourself comfortable as possible. If you feel okay, you could sit right up. Don't stand up just now, just enjoy the energy around you. All that nice Christmassy energy, the winter solstice energy. I'm glad you were able to join me today. I'm glad you were able to do this. I will do my best to, I know I'm smiling because it's one of those things, or should I say my son will do his best to download this onto as many things as I could put it onto. I can maybe get it on YouTube or definitely get it on Spiritual Pathways. So if you're watching it from one of those, then I've done right for that as well. I would absolutely love you to have a really, really good Christmas, so I wish you a very Merry Christmas from Spiritual Pathways, which is myself. And I wish you a healthy and wealthy and a prosperous new year and all the best for 2026, you know. Um, and just remember some of the things that we've said, some of the things that we've talked over. Don't give yourself a hard time if you haven't achieved it. Do better, do absolutely put a lot more energy into it, and you'll achieve it this year. Because what's for you is for you, as they say. So I hope that you've enjoyed this meditation. I would love to see some of your comments. Um, I'm very much open to, if there's something that didn't fit and sit with you, let me know that also. Um, but if you feel free, share your experiences because when you're in that meditation place, a lot of people get visions like colours and images and it's so lovely when they tell me, because I know that they went deep down and they've relaxed so much that they've allowed their mind to open up to like loads of things that they're viewing and seeing as well. So let me know what happens. Let me know your experiences through this meditation or any other comments. I'd love to hear them. Um, but as far as this is, Spiritual Pathways is closing up until the middle of January. Yeah, I do take a little bit of a long holiday with myself because I don't take a holiday through the year. So I wish you all the best. I wish you absolutely all the best. And I think the final thing I want to say to you all is take care of yourself. Take care and look after yourself. Because if you're not right, then anything else under you isn't right either. But take the time out, go to the botanical gardens, hug a tree for goodness sake. Do something mad this year or next year, I should say. You still got a bit this year to do something mad in. So yeah, tell you New Year Dukers, you're brave people, brave people. Um, and I would just, as I say, I'd like to just wish you all the best. So thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for being a part of this winter solstice with me. Um, yeah, wishing you all the best. So this is Jeanette signing off, as they say, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.